Hello and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good
morning.
Day.
Good morning, good morning.
It is Tuesday.
It is.
I know, I checked. I looked. I double-checked. I was like, wait a second.
I almost stopped.
It is accurately Tuesday, December 29th in the year 2020.
2 more days till we get to say,
well, I feel like it's like 3 more days.
No. Okay. Well, yeah. All right.
Do you count the day that you're on? Because it has.
I don't know. I don't think I count the day that I'm on. I usually further out.
It's 3 more sleeps, 29, 30, 31.
So 3 more sleeps and 2 more days?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll make a compromise.
I feel like you're giving it to me there.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fair. Whatever. I thought it was Wednesday. It is not. Normally I get the days wrong, but it is accurately Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
It is Tuesday, and how is everyone? We are continuing with our series on creating space because we want you to hit your goals in 2021. And in order to do that, you need space to, I'm just going to move the microphone a tad closer. Yep. You need space to be able to hit your goals. And maybe we can just do a little bit of a recap from yesterday and why we are talking about this.
Yep.
And the number one reason that we wanted to sort of end the year talking about creating space and bandwidth versus very strategic goals, so to speak, is because what we've seen over the last year is, well, not even over the last year, but what I've seen in my own life, in our team's lives, and in the community that we work with is we all dramatically underestimate the space and bandwidth required in order to get to where you want to go.
Yes.
We dramatically underestimate the space needed in order to get to where you want to go. And one of, I think, I don't like using the word mistakes because when you know better, you do better. So one of the not knowings, let's call it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
The not knowings is that you can't conduct business or life as usual and get to where you want to go.
That is true.
Right? The reality of today is the reality of today. And so what happens today is going to carry you to tomorrow. And what happens tomorrow carries you to the next day. And what happens in the next day carries you. So your present is always your present. Like today's present is tomorrow's present. So if today's present doesn't change, tomorrow's present won't change.
Ooh, deep thoughts this morning.
Well, but you know what I like?
Yeah,
yes, I get
such a good way of putting it. I really like that.
True.
It's so true.
Because, whatever happens to you today affects tomorrow. And we don't think about it like that. So whatever happens to you today, tomorrow, and next week basically tells the story of what's going to happen, of what's going to transpire in 6 months from now.
Ooh, that's so good. And if we take it one step further, that means that if you're waiting for something to change before you can then go and do the things you want to do, it will actually never happen because today carries to tomorrow, which carries to the next day, which carries to the next day, thereby not delivering the magical change that you were waiting for.
Right. So if we say that the goal for 2021 is, let's just say, the elusive 6 figures.
Okay. Yep.
In order for you to make 6 figures in 12 months from now, you have to start today.
Yep.
And that is what I think the big underestimation is.
Yep.
Right? If you wanted to have a successful launch for January, you would have had to have start planning that in October.
Yeah.
Right? Even if success by your definition is 5 new clients.
Yep.
You can't wing that. So we don't want you to wing your life. Like, right? We're not like hope and a prayer here. We're not going to Bon Jovi our way.
Nope.
On a prayer.
Nope.
We're not going to do that. And that's not what we want for you. Like, we want you to be so intentional and so self-responsible for 2021. And before we like went live, we were saying, like, I was saying to Laura, like, I'm operating under the sort of assumption or surrendering, let's say, that we are going to be in lockdown for all of 2021. Like, that is the mode by which I have sort of dreamed up 2021 for myself.
Yep.
I'm not operating under any false pretense, because if I set the bar really low and we magically are allowed out of our bedrooms, then that's wonderful.
Yes.
But I'm creating my 2021 life based off of the reality that I believe to be true. I can't control external. I have no control over that. Yeah. And so I'm going to operate under the reality that I believe is going to transpire, and I am therefore going to control my reality and create space in my world so that I can feel the way that I want to feel, have the quality of life that I want to have, and crush my goals in 2021, given the current season.
You know what's really interesting about that? The way that you just described that is the way that we go about and plan for every single goal in the business. And it's the way I plan for every life goal too. It's hedging, right? It's hedging. You can be optimistic. You can hope for all the things. You should be optimistic. You should hope for like all of the easy, happy butterflies and rainbows. But the reality is you have to plan for every single thing that you want as if it's going to be the hardest possible way for you to get it. Because that way you are setting yourself up for massive success. And if it's easier, awesome. That's great. You'll do even better than you wanted to do. But there is nothing worse, in my opinion, than setting yourself up with unrealistic expectations of what it will take to hit a goal. Whether that's financial, business, personal, child, food, workout, like you have to hedge and you have to plan for it to be the absolute hardest. Yeah. So that everything will actually feel
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you said plan for, for it to be the hardest, I sort of went like, ooh, because we don't want to like put that out, like the expectation that it's going to be hard, so to speak. But I think if we sort of said the reality of the situation, we have to plan for the reality. And the reality is, when you want to up level, we have to take all of the circumstances into consideration. And when you plan that way, when you plan for challenges, when you plan for pivots, when you create space for blocks, and they appear, you are not caught off guard, and you have it doesn't feel as confronting. Like
You know what it's like? I was just thinking, to take it out of this context, because it's always easier when you take it out of this context and you put it somewhere else. think about two different families doing a home renovation. Okay. Family one over here hired this contractor who was like, it's going to cost $50,000 and that's all it's going to cost. And we're going to be top of the line, or we're going to be in and out in 8 weeks or less. And they're like, yes, I'm so excited. And family two over here hires a contractor who says, it's likely going to be 50. I like to plan for a 30% contingency budget. So I'd like to add another 15,000 to the budget just in case something comes up. And I'm going to give you an 8 to 14 week period, depending on external factors. Right?
And if you can't have this tile, do you want this tile, this tile, or this tile? If you can't get this paint, do you want this paint, or this paint? If you can't have this, this.
Yeah. Think about those two families. Fast forward, let's say 13 weeks. Okay. Family one, they're now 8, 9, 10, 4 weeks over, or 3 weeks over, and it came in 10% over budget. They're so devastated. It cost them an extra $5,000. They had to get a hotel for an extra like 3-4 weeks, and they're so unhappy with the experience. Same reno. Family two over here, it came in at the same price, but to them it's actually, oh, it only was 5% over, not the 15 you told me it could be. This is amazing. We have extra money, and you came in just under the top end of when you said it would be done. We are so grateful and happy for the service that we got. Same exact circumstances, completely different outcomes in terms of feelings.
Yeah.
And how they want to move forward now.
Yeah.
It's like that with goals in business. You have to set yourself up to feel like family two.
Yes. That's a really good way to think about it, because nothing ever goes smoothly. You know, like, and even some, that's, you know, like, I shouldn't say that.
Sometimes it does.
What?
I said sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does. But and that's like my old programming, right? Because the idea that anything is supposed to be perfect is old programming. Because when you have, like, that was a real life, right?
Yeah.
Everything goes as planned.
Yes.
That's better, because when you plan for all of these things,
yes,
then it goes that way and it's an easier experience.
Yes.
Right? Everything goes as intentioned.
Yes.
And that's sort of the way that we want you to take this level of self-responsibility over your own success, impact, wealth, abundance.
Yes.
Right? It's self-responsibility to say, okay, you know, here's where I want to be at the end of 2021, and here's how I want to feel, and here's my expectations. And if you just put that down and you didn't do the work to create the space for it and the planning for it, and you put on your, you know, rosy colored glasses and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, hope and pray my way, like, right? I'm going to hope that this works. I'm going to hope whatever. It's like hope strategy. It doesn't, like, that is not a thing.
Yep.
Right? And we don't take the time, again, going back to Laura's example, think of how much pre-planning and thought and conversation and back and forth it would take for family number two to have an amazing experience. They do the stress and the frustration and the you know, this and that and the, like, what's the when you, like, not concede, but compromise. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. Right? And you do all of that ahead of time so that when you walk in to the execution of it, the experience flows.
Yes.
It flows. And are there bumps in the road? Yes, for sure. But you knew that.
Yes.
You knew that there would be bumps, and you have sort of a plan for that. And so you are not left feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, annoyed, pissed off, full of self-doubt, lack of self-worth, blaming other people. None of, you know, those things are minimized.
Yeah.
Those things are minimized. And that is what we are trying to get you to do. And I, you know, to take radical self-responsibility, radical self-responsibility over how your year turns out, because clearly we can't control much anymore.
Nope.
The only thing that we can control is our own thoughts and actions.
Yeah.
And it's about taking radical responsibility. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, first, you have to get really clear on your outcomes.
Yeah.
You have to get really clear on your outcomes. And yesterday we talked about that, right? We talked about your spaces: physical, emotional, spiritual, skill set, financial. These are your spaces that you occupy. How are your spaces feeling right now? Are your spaces, in each of those spaces, are you capable? Because the present is the present is the present is the present,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So in the present, is your space capable of getting you to where you want to be? Because if today your space, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, skills, or financial, right? If those spaces today are not capable of propelling you tomorrow, the next day, 6 months from now, to achieve the goal, then we have to work on modifying the space. We have to create space for the change.
Yes.
Right? We have to create space for the up leveling, because you can't have a crowded, full on bad feeling space and then expect to add good stuff in. There's no room.
Yes. That's a really good way to put it.
There's no room. Like, I have a mason jar. Oops, sorry, I banged it on the microphone. That was probably loud. Right? If this mason jar was full of lemon salt water, right, which is half full right now, there's space for me to add more water to hydrate myself. Yay! Positive outcome. But if I never drank the water and I kept adding more water, I'm not hydrating. And my space is overflowing. And it's not helping me. No good to anybody. Now I have a wet floor.
Not good.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to think about creating space. So what we want you to ask yourselves is, what worked and what didn't? In each of the spaces, take out paper, right? Physical, what worked, what didn't? Emotional, what worked? Mindset, right? Mental well-being, what worked, what didn't? Right? Skills, what worked, what didn't?
Financial.
What worked, what didn't? This is self-responsibility. This is leadership. And sitting down and saying, okay, what worked and what didn't? And then what can you get rid of from the what didn't work category to create space? We have to get rid of some of the things that didn't work for you so that you can create a new present tomorrow, right? A new reality tomorrow and the next day and the next day, so that you have space.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. Don't sit down and overcomplicate it. It can be simple things, like simple things of what worked and what didn't.
And, you know, everybody's sort of looking for, like, give me the next tactic and tell me how to grow my Instagram and how do I get more clients? But like, your physical space and your mental space is so full that there is no space for more success. There is no space for abundance. There is no space for impact. And that's very true for a lot of practitioners and coaches we see. Your mental space is so jammed with self-doubt and self-sabotage and low self-worth that there is no space. There is no space. for the abundance and positivity and success and growth that is needed to hold the container of your business.
Yes. And do you know what no space looks like? No space looks like not taking action. If you are not taking action, even though you know you should, and you're getting tactics and you're watching every day, and you're not taking action, there's no space for it. So you have to figure out where you can make the space now so that you can take all of the things that you are learning and watching and observing and put them into action.
Yeah. This is so important. This is the most important conversation that we could have, because like, we can teach you all the, like, that's easy. Like, we can help you name your lead magnet, and we can help you name your Facebook group, and we can, walk you through a sales process, and we can do all of those things. But radical responsibility to create space should be your mantra for 2021. That you are going to take this on in every aspect of your life to create this, right? It's okay, Heather. We can't see who it is anyway, so it's fine. I was like, oh, we had a nerve with someone. But, we are all adults, and we're all here because we are ambitious and purpose-driven. And in order for you to create the reality that you so desire, requires radical self-responsibility. And you can do it. And it's going to feel awkward and it's going to feel real, but you want to change your life? This is how you change your life. It starts internal. It does not start external. It does not start with a Facebook group. It does not start with a Facebook ad. It does not start with the name of the program. It does not start with Instagram Reels. It does not start with any of that.
Nope.
It starts with you sitting down and saying, how am I going to create the reality that I desire to have today, so that in 12 months from now, I'm patting myself on the back?
Yeah.
Because your reality today dictates your reality tomorrow. And that's just the truth. So radical responsibility for 2021 is the name of the game, and creating space. Do an audit. Take your spaces, physical, emotional, mental, whatever you want to call it, mindset. Right? Hold on, I wrote them down because I feel like I keep saying them wrong. Physical, your physical space, your environment, right? And your physical body.
Yes.
Your emotional space, your mind, your heart, right? Your skill set. If you want to get somewhere and you don't have the skills, but you're filling that space with a whole bunch of things that you're not taking action on, that's not helpful. So you have to fill the skills space with actual strategies and action.
Yeah.
Right? And your financial space. Getting really clear on your finances. This is what leadership looks like. This is what radical responsibility looks like. Do an audit. Assess each space. What worked, what didn't? What do you want to change? What do you want to create space for? What are you going to get rid of in order to create space for? Because your reality today dictates where you're going to be in 12 months from now. And that doesn't mean that you have to change everything all at once, because you don't. But we have to start with just even acknowledgement of where you're at, right?
Yes.
Just the simple acknowledgement of, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go.
That alone is huge.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're becoming self-aware.
Yeah.
Right? You're becoming self-aware, and what you're doing is you're standing in your power instead of bypassing it all because you're so busy.
Yes.
You're claiming your space.
Love it.
Claim your damn space.
For real.
That's what we want for you.
Yeah.
Claim your space. You are allowed. You don't need to be given permission. And if you do, here it is.
This is the permission. This is it.
Permission granted to claim your space and change your reality. So, we will not be back tomorrow, but we will be back Thursday at a slightly different time, a little later, for like a little New Year's party.
Can't wait.
We're gonna celebrate 2020 and give it the send off it deserves.
I will wear sequins.
Amazing. I won't, but I might put on a little lip gloss.
Whoa. Whoa. It's getting real, guys.
Have a good day, everybody.